Hi, this is Moonshine's Curiosity. Nice to see you again today. Today I am talking about what it feels like to be schizoaffective. Now, schizoaffective is schizophrenia and bipolar together, or schizophrenia and major depression, or depressive disorder. So, now you have an idea what it is. As for... Sorry, if you hear noises in the background, my boyfriend's playing a video game, and when he gets into it, he yells and stuff. You know, yeah, he usually is cheering, or he'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. So, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry if you hear that. Anyways, what it's like having schizoaffective. Well, for me, I have bipolar schizoaffective. So, I have the bipolar, which is in another video. That video is called What It Feels Like to Be Bipolar. It's on my channel. It should be in the mental health playlist. As for schizoaffective, I think it's interesting. Schizoaffective means, and schizoaffective is not that different from bipolar or psychosis. But from my research, schizoaffective is when you hallucinate all the time, even when you're normal. You know, you feel stable and normal, and you're not manic or depressed or mixed. And then for bipolar or psychosis, means that you only hallucinate with your manic episodes, depression episodes, or mixed episodes. So I have schizoaffective. I hallucinate all the time. That's just who I am. And I get delusions, and I get if I'm mood stabilized or not, I have to be on an antipsychotic to actually somewhat help with the hallucinations and delusions. I've already kind of gone over manic and depression. I'll go over them here really quick. Manic is when you feel like you need to do everything, you're out of control, you have to go out and party, and it's a have-to thing. You have to do it. When you're depressed, you can't do it because you don't feel right. You know, you feel down. You may have suicidal tendencies, self-harm. You may just want to sleep in bed because you're in so much pain, emotional pain. So that's kind of how that is. I mentioned it in the other video in more detail. Now, as a schizoaffective, the schizo part, it's very bizarre. Sometimes I'll hear things or see things, and sometimes I'll feel things. But some people will feel, some people can smell things. Some people can taste things as hallucinations. Those are very rare. Touch hallucinations are rare too. Audio and visual are very common with people who hallucinate. Now, my hallucinations are, I get different things. I normally see animals. Like I'll see a black lab. Sometimes I'll see a cat or two. Usually I see dogs. Sometimes I'll see squirrels. Some squirrels that are really big, like 3 feet tall, or some that are regular sized squirrels. I've seen like a little dancing cow. It was really cute, by the way. And I only saw it once. And then I see a ghostly lady who has like a rotting infant in her hands, and she's just beckoning all the shadow people to come. And when I see shadow people, I usually know she's around because I'll see her after I see a few shadow people, which is so fun. You can just imagine the fun I'm having when I get that. Trying to think what else I see. Sometimes I see random people in the house and then they disappear. I'll hear conversations about me. Just little things like that. Voices through the walls saying that I know what you did and things like that, which makes me feel guilty of something, even though I haven't done anything. And then I always hear people talking about me. I'll hear them in another room chatting about how they don't like me, they want me out, they don't want me around anymore, they're not going to take care of me anymore, stuff like that. And I get very paranoid. I'm more of a paranoia kind of schizophrenic or schizoaffective. I think people are out to get me. When I meet people, I usually think poorly of them because I think they don't like me. So it could go really well, and my boyfriend's like, wow, that went really well. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They talked about how they hated me. And he's like, no, they didn't. And I don't know if that's a schizophrenic thing or not, but I get that all the time. I'll meet people for the first time and think they hate me, and it went really well. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. But I'm trying to think of all the things, the delusions. I've kind of gone over this in my delusion video, and I know I went over the hallucinations in my hallucination video, but I felt like putting it all together in this video. Delusions with me are more paranoid, like I mentioned before. I may think people are after me, trying to abduct me. When I see cops, I feel like they're gonna go after me for no reason. I just feel like they're just after me. And I think people are following me when I'm walking or when I'm driving. And yes, some of us can drive. We just got to be very careful. I know for me, the hallucinations are pretty... I can tell, like, what... I can tell what's real and what isn't, because usually it disappears. If I see shadow people, I know they're not real. And normally, I don't see stuff when I drive. Like, when I drive, I'm so focused on driving, like, sometimes I'll see stuff, but usually it disappears within a few seconds when I'm driving, so it's usually okay. And it's not in the street, ever. It's usually on a sidewalk. Sometimes I'll see, like, orb lights. You just gotta know when is okay and when it isn't. If you're having... I know for me, if I'm having a really bad episode with hallucinations and delusions, I refuse to drive because I know I'm not stable. But when I'm stable and I'm not hallucinating as bad, you know, then I'll drive, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But I think that's about it. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I've talked about most of this already on my channel, so this is almost like a review of what it feels like to be schizoaffective. Without medication, it feels like hell. Being depressed, suicidal, self-harming, meltdowns, just not wanting to do anything but sleep, to sleep away the pain. When I'm manic with schizoaffective, I want to do everything. I start chatting to people who aren't really there. But that's when I'm unstable with no medication. I'll just start chatting with them. And sometimes I'll get excited and be like, oh my gosh, I just saw a dog. And my boyfriend's like, nothing was there. And I'm like, oh. So if you want to know coping skills for all of this, I do have a few videos about coping. Just check them out. Basically reality checking. Reality checking is when you have someone that you can ask if something's real or not. Delusion or hallucination. Maybe even manic or depression too. You can ask and say, hey, does this seem normal? Or I feel like this. Is this normal? Because sometimes for us, what's normal to us, emotionally wise or mood wise, isn't normal to everyone else. I know for me, it's been years. When I first got on lamotrigine, it took about 6 months, but when I first got on it and my moods went stable, there was one day I remember I didn't feel... I told my boyfriend this too. I said, I don't feel manic and I don't feel depressed. I'm like, I don't know what I'm feeling. And he's like, maybe you're feeling normal for you. And I'm like, oh, I've never felt that way before. So I do get a few rare days where it's just totally stable mood wise. So I thought that was interesting that my normal wasn't everyone else's normal. So, and that doesn't feel normal to us when we've lived with it our whole lives. Like, I know for me, it was around 11 when I started getting bipolar symptoms, but I didn't go to a doctor or anything until I was about 22 about it. Well, I went in because I started hallucinating. No, I was 23. I was 23 when I started hallucinating. I went in and they said, "Oh, you're bipolar." And I'm like, "Oh, I thought I just had major depression." And they're like, "No, it's bipolar for sure." I believe they said bipolar 1. And I was just like, "Oh, okay, nice." I always get 1 and 2 confused. I think because they're numbers. They should just call them something. You know, they should be like bipolaritis or something, and have the other one just bipolar or something. I would be less confused, but I'm no doctor. Anyways, I think that ends this video. I'm just rambling now. So I will talk to you all later. Hope you have a great day. Try to keep a smile on your face. Any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas for another video, please comment them in the comments. And this is just a few experiences of being schizoaffective and how it felt for me. And just remember, everyone's different. Someone may experience things like me. Some people may have totally different experiences. Some people, you know, will have the God complex when they have the schizophrenia traits. I don't get that. Some people get the just random different things. I'm more paranoid. I get paranoid about stuff as my delusions. But some people aren't. So my views may be a little different, but I think for the most part, this is how a lot of us feel. If you disagree, go ahead and comment about it. But anyways, like I said before, I'm going to get off now because I am rambling. So I'll talk to y'all later and see you in the next video. Bye.